Subject A, good hedgehog. Subject B, evil hedgehog. Introducing Shadow from Sonic Adventure 2. Now you can choose to be Sonic, the good hedgehog, and try to save the world. Or Shadow, the evil hedgehog, and conquer it. What kind of hedgehog are you? Rated E for everyone, only on Dreamcast.
The year 2001 brought the launch of many consoles to the consumer public. The original Xbox, the Game Boy Advance, and of course the GameCube. But in a year of launches, so too would it be a year of endings. The Dreamcast. Launched in 1998 by Sega as their final entry into the console war, it would be an early entry into the next generation, beating out the PS2 by 2 whole years in Japan. Unfortunately, Sega was not in a good financial situation at the time, and hopes were high that the Dreamcast could be a sellout smash not only in the West, but in the East as well. With a solid lineup of games, a cool aesthetic to the console, and even internet access to make it one of the most advanced consoles of its time. And it didn't happen. Sega ultimately announced that they would turn their direction into a third-party developer and leave consoles in the past, and with enough persistence actually managed to escape bankruptcy. And the first company Sega would turn to as a third-party developer would actually be Nintendo. If you grew up in the early 90s, Sega and Nintendo was like the new Cola Wars. It was pretty astronomical to have this event happen. But of course by the late 90s, Nintendo wasn't Sega's biggest threat anymore. No, it was someone else with a big electronics company behind it. So if you had to turn to another company to make them look better, Nintendo was probably the better option. Sega started their new Nintendo team up on their handhelds, even when they were still publishing Dreamcast games, and when the time came for Nintendo to roll out their new console in Japan, Sega would be the only publisher besides Nintendo to support it at launch. This time with a brand new IP, for consoles at least. And that game was Super Monkey Ball. Super Monkey Ball is a franchise I associate the GameCube with, even before learning there was an actual sequel released on it. Probably because I read Nintendo Power during that time and NP readers were finding themselves becoming fans of this new IP. But the GameCube would not be where Super Monkey Ball would debut. No, it would be in arcades where a title known as Monkey Ball would debut in June 2001 and of course, only a few months later, be ported to consoles with an added Super in the title. Super Monkey Ball was developed at Amusement Vision, founded in 1998, but in 2000 was given its current name after 2 name changes that were both extremely long and extremely standard, so I'm not going to say them to save time. Besides, Amusement Vision has a lot more flavor to it. The head of Amusement Vision was a man named Toshihiro Nagoshi. Joining Sega in 1989 in their Sega AM2 department, Nagoshi worked on a few titles as an artist until his big break came in 1993, where he would direct and produce the first Daytona USA game. And from there continued to do so with games like Scud Race, Spike Out, and also further Daytona sequels. And there was this other game we both co-directed and co-produced that really didn't go anywhere, but you might have heard of it. It was called Shenmue, and it would be the final time we would work in his former AM2 department. Come the end of the Dreamcast era, then Sega president Isao Okawa complained about video games getting only bigger and more expensive to produce, especially in arcades where they were only getting more advanced and more complex for the average consumer. So Nagoshi got an idea. A simple little game about rolling a ball through a maze and getting it through the goal with no other buttons needed besides moving. The concept went through a lot of revisions, especially with what the ball was going to be exactly. But thanks to artist Mika Kojima, the decision was ultimately reached by having cute chibi monkeys take the role as the ball. And so the game was released to arcades. But the ball got rolling per se when the game was published to the GameCube a few months later, with better graphics and a few extra modes alongside an adjective that would stick with the series from here on out. Super Monkey Ball. Now I think I gave the gist of this game pretty much with the history. You ever play with one of those wooden labyrinth ball maze games? Well, this is pretty much the same thing made for a new generation that's played with a controller. Right down to the fact you don't move the monkey, you move the stage itself to get the monkey to the goal. Of course there's a few more things worth mentioning, like how you can choose between one of 4 monkey characters with Ai, Mimi, Baby, and Gon Gon. and they don't have any differences between the 4 of them. You just choose the one that feels most comfortable playing. So for example, baby, your screams are annoying me, so I'm not choosing you. The stages are, of course, all unique, unlike the wooden inspiration, alongside some abstract backgrounds, like a series of waterfalls in the sky or some 50s drive-in theme, plus some absolute groovy music in addition. And there's a nice touch of where you win a stage, your monkey floats up to the next stage, which is hovering above you. Alongside that, there's a few shortcuts in the level that can take you 5 stages later to the game, and of course you can gather bananas that serves as the coin, where collecting 10 grants you another life. And yes, coming off the last episode where I mentioned the blatant product placement, we got another pretty blatant one here too. And while I can imagine a company like McDonald's and Dr. Pepper sending out letters and emails to media corporations in hopes of having their product in a movie or whatever, I can't see fruit company Dole doing the same thing. I have no information on how this partnership happened, so I'm going to assume Sega went to them personally and asked to pay them to put product placement in the game because, oh, you produce fruit, one of them being bananas, and we happen to have a monkey game in the works, Monkeys Eat Bananas, so why not slap a sticker on the bananas in this game? Yeah, everything about this partnership sticks out like a sore thumb. There's one last thing of mention, and that is this game is brutal. Like Dark Souls shivers just looking at this game. There are 3 difficulties with the beginner, advanced, and an expert mode, and I have no trouble with beginner. I beat it a few times for this video. But advanced and expert do eventually wall you in difficulty in no time, especially when they only give you a small little path to cross between a bunch of bumpers bouncing you around in a time limit. Yeah, I got walled in expert mode on floor 4 out of 50. I'm kinda confused why there's more levels as the difficulty gets harder, but hey, that's just me. Super Monkey Ball, the definition of easy to learn, hard to master. And that's the big hurdle of enjoying this game. It's whether you're skilled enough or not to attempt to beat these levels, or you're comfortable just playing the beginner mode over and over again. Thankfully there is a practice mode that lets you play any level you want to get a bit of practice in order to help conquer that level, alongside 5 continues with 3 lives each. So it's not impossible, but if this was all that there was, this would be a rather flat game in my opinion. Thankfully Amusement Vision added in some extra games to help extend its longevity. Starting off in the party games, we have Monkey Race, a racing mode where you have to go a few laps around the track rolling around in your monkey ball. Alongside that, you have some Mario Kart style weapons to both help you and sabotage your opponent. What's cool is that you can actually stack them and save them for later. What's also cool is that this mode is in fact awesome, as well as the rest of the party games. Like, this is honestly good enough to hold a candle to Mario Kart. Well, almost. I'm not a big fan of constantly falling off the stage, but besides that, there's just a fantastic sense of speed, the weapons are all fun to use, it's just a wonderful time, and beyond that, there's just a ton of options here for something that should have been just a simple little minigame. Like choosing how many laps to take, or adding a handicap to modes like time trials, a Grand Prix mode, and oh, what's this? A free play mode? I can't believe it. The dumb monkey racing game has a free play mode, and the full racing game doesn't. What a joke. Alongside that is Monkey Fight, a bumper ball style push your opponents off the map with boxing gloves that includes both multiple arenas as well as power-ups to shake things up. And this might be my favorite game out of the bunch. Just a bunch of fun, like a barrel full of monkeys. Did I just write that? And the final party game is Monkey Target. I guess an extreme take on curling or darts or something like that. Basically your monkey will roll down a big hill and then take flight with their ball as a glider, and you have to land on the spot to win points. There's an option to add a wheel of danger, adding in obstacles as well as the ability to gain power-ups. This one grew on me. I was rather confused at first, but after enough time, I learned to enjoy it. Although I'm not a fan of having to return to your ball state and potentially roll off a good score, solid enough game, it gets a pass. Alongside the party games are the mini-games, which strangely have to be unlocked after getting enough points in the main game to buy them. And you can only buy one at a time, so no, you don't get the whole package, so choose wisely. Unlike the uniqueness of the mini-games, these ones are based on actual sports, starting off with billiards. A simple take on 9-ball, or in this case 8-ball, where you hear the screams of monkeys as they ricochet across the table. And it's really simple to play. Out of the 3 minigames, this one's my favorite. But following that is Monkey Bowling. Easily my least favorite game in this game. It seems like a decent enough bowling sim at first, but then you get to the part where you have to choose your angle on where to shoot, and this isn't my control stick messing up. It really goes this fast, and you have to hope you get a good enough direction or else you're playing with the spin function to try and get a good shot. If this wasn't vastly randomized, I'd honestly be singing a different tune for how good this mode is. But alas, it's one bad element that makes me avoid this one. And finally, Monkey Golf, a mini golf style game where you have multiple clubs to shoot with and has that monkey ball charm added in, like being able to out of bounds. I like this one enough. I think my real gripes with this one is that much like the main game, some holes can really get annoying to try and conquer. Thankfully, if you go over 10, then you just move on to the next hole. You know, a majority of these games are so good that it's actually kind of shocking they're attached to the monkey rolling game that seems destined to be lame to a Western mind. But it's actually surprising that they overall make Super Monkey Ball one of the best party games ever made, for its time. Although I am a little unsatisfied with the main game's difficulty wall, probably due to it being an arcade game, I think Amusement Visions and Sega agreed because after its surprise success in the West, they made a sequel the following year, Super Monkey Ball 2, that was console exclusive. Since this will be a game that'll get a review later down the line, I'm not going to spoil my thoughts on it completely, but I will say it is a definite improvement from the first Monkey Ball, and actually makes the first Monkey Ball pretty obsolete. Which is a little cruel to say, but it is my true thoughts. Super Monkey Ball thrilled many players on the GameCube's launch as a great game for the whole family to enjoy beyond just, my family just wants to play shovelware party games. Super Monkey Ball extends that and becomes a game anyone can enjoy with difficult levels to conquer as well as its party games that can bring hours of enjoyment. And yet, it was also a game that suffered what I call first game syndrome, where the first game can be enjoyable or even in this case fantastic, but it's also revving up to have a much better sequel that can outshine the first one. But that doesn't mean the first Monkey Ball can't be enjoyed over its better brother or be remembered as the game that kept us satisfied at launch. If you can't find 2, then Super Monkey Ball can and will still be a solid addition to play regardless, and a great start to a wonderful franchise.